Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, good morning, happy Tuesday. Today, Tuesday, May 9th, Tuesday of the 5th week of Easter. We're in May, the month of rosary, the month dedicated to Mary, the Mother of Jesus. During this month, we are encouraged to pray the rosary more often, more intensely. It's a beautiful prayer, a very simple one, that reminds us of the great deeds that God has worked through Mary. God worked through Mary to make it possible for His Son to come among us, and all that Mary did during her life, how she accompanied her Son, and she united herself to her Son, even to the point of being taken up to heaven, body and soul, at the moment of her passing from this life. Today I would like to spend a few words actually on the first reading, taken from the Acts of Apostles. As you know, the season of Easter, the first reading is taken from the Acts of Apostles, and the Acts of Apostles are the description of the early church, early Christian communities in the Mediterranean, how the gospel was brought to them, and how the apostles and Paul labored hard to spread the good news. Today, in this passage taken from chapter 14, basically it's almost a travel guide, so to speak. It's about Paul and Barnabas, and it comes a list of places that they visited in Turkey, Antioch, and Derbe, Pamphylia, Pisidia, places I'm not familiar to us, all located in Turkey, modern-day Turkey. Basically, I would say it's almost a page of a travel guide. We visit all these places, and also the apostles describe what they did. We preached the gospel. They made a considerable number of disciples. But why am I talking about this page of the gospel? Why is this page important? Well, first of all, because it describes the zeal of the apostles and describes a vibrant community of people who really traveled around the Roman Empire to spread the good news. And this page of Acts of Apostles is part of a description of one of the missionary journeys of Paul and Barnabas, how they really traveled around with the limited means that they had back then, boats and horse, probably, and foot. The travel, visit all these communities. They didn't have credit cards or planes, but they went around. Why? They went around to spread the good news. Paul and Barnabas and other apostles took upon themselves this ministry of spreading the good news. So it's important to remember the early church was missionary, was very missionary oriented. People spread the good news and created Christian communities around the Mediterranean. Other places listed here, again, many of them are right now small villages, but back then they were vibrant towns and cities. Other places that didn't have a Christian community before Paul and Barnabas arrived, and they made disciples in those cities, and people embraced the new faith and established churches in different cities. And so Paul and Barnabas traveled around to preach the good news and to strengthen the faith of the people who were already converted. So visit their communities to bring them help and support their faith, and help them in their Christian life. So this this ministry of Paul and Barnabas and other apostles of preaching good news, but also of caring for the early Christian communities, that was one of the main traits of the early church. This is one of the main tasks of the church, one of the main duties, to be missionary. The church in itself is missionary. We have received our faith from Christ, but this faith is meant to be shared with others, to be preached. So the church is missionary. The church is missionary. The church is missionary today because the church spread the good news, not just in different countries, to people who don't know the gospel, but all of us are called to be missionaries, to spread the good news wherever we are. So we need to remember that the church, by her nature, is missionary. The missionary efforts of the church are not something that belong to the past, to the early church or the few centuries ago. This missionary efforts is something that should be part of our own awareness, self-awareness of being Catholics, to spread the good news. What does it mean to be missionary? To share what we have met, the beauty of being a Christian, the beauty of being a Catholic, sharing this beauty with others, inviting others to join because it's beautiful, because it's good to be with Jesus. This is what it means to be a missionary, and all of us can be missionaries. Take care and God bless.